I told him he'd never be the man I needed. He didn't argue. He just smiled, packed his things, and left forever. My name is Rachel. I'm 30, and for nearly 5 years, I thought I had love figured out. His name was Mark. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't a grand gesture type, but he was consistent. He'd show up with coffee when I had late nights at work. He'd fix a leaky faucet before I even noticed it was broken. He remembered my mom's birthday and sent her flowers without me asking. People would tell me, "Rachel, he's a good one. Don't let him go." And I believed them, for a while. But somewhere between the comfort and the routines, something started to shift in me. The little girl inside, who had once dreamed of whirlwind romance and unshakable passion, started whispering again. I wanted more fire, more excitement, more intensity. What I had was steady, and steady started to feel like settling. It wasn't that Mark did anything wrong. It was that he did everything the same. Dinner at the same restaurants, the same Sunday walks, the same I love you before bed, always in that calm tone of his. I told myself this was maturity, this was what real love looked like, but I'd find myself scrolling through social media, seeing couples traveling the world together, dancing in the kitchen at midnight, surprising each other with plane tickets. And I'd think, why not us? Why not me? Mark was safe, and in my restless heart, safe started to feel like boring. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday night. He'd just come home from work, kissed my forehead, and asked how my day was. I don't know why, but that night, his smile felt small. His voice felt quiet. We sat down to dinner, and he told me about his day at the office. Same coworkers, same meetings, same everything. My mind wandered, and when he noticed, he asked gently, "Are you okay?" And that's when I said it. The words came out before I could catch them. "Mark, you'll never be the man I need." Silence. He set down his fork, looked at me for a long moment, and then he smiled. Not a sarcastic smile, not an angry smile, just this calm, knowing one, like he'd already been expecting it. "Okay," he said simply. He didn't ask what I meant. He didn't beg for an explanation. He didn't defend himself. Instead, he stood up, walked to the bedroom, and pulled out his suitcase. I followed him, panic starting to creep in. "Mark, wait, I didn't—" But he just kept folding his shirts, placing them neatly in the case. "Rachel," he said gently, "if I'm not the man you need, then I shouldn't waste your time, and you shouldn't waste mine." There was no anger in his voice, no bitterness, just acceptance. That was the worst part. I stood in the doorway, watching the man who had shared my bed for 5 years quietly remove himself from my life. No slamming drawers, no shouting, just the sound of hangers sliding off the rod, zippers closing, the suitcase wheels clicking softly on the hardwood. "Mark, please, I didn't mean it like that." I tried again, my voice breaking. I've been feeling like something's missing and I don't know what it is." He paused for a moment, then looked at me with the kindest eyes I'd ever seen. "I know what's missing for you, and I'm not going to hold you hostage while you look for it." When he finished packing, he stood in front of me, suitcase in hand. "You're a good woman, Rachel," he said, "and I hope you find the man who makes you feel the way you've been looking for. I just know it isn't me." He kissed my forehead, just like he had every day for years, then walked past me, out the front door. The sound of that door closing is burned into my memory. It wasn't loud, but it was final. For the first week, I told myself I'd made the right choice. I told myself I'd find someone who gave me butterflies again, someone who swept me off my feet. I even downloaded a dating app. But every conversation felt shallow. Every smile felt temporary, and every time something broke in my apartment, I caught myself wishing Mark was there to fix it. Not just the faucet or the shelf. Me? I missed the way he always asked about my mom. I missed how he knew exactly how I took my coffee without asking. I missed the safety I'd mistaken for boredom. One night, about a month after he left, I found myself driving aimlessly. Without thinking, I pulled up in front of his new place. The lights were on. Through the window, I could see him sitting at the table, laughing with friends. He looked happy, lighter somehow. I realized then that he hadn't left broken. He'd left free. And maybe, deep down, I'd given him the same gift he gave me, the chance to find what we truly needed. I still replay that night in my head. I wonder what would have happened if I'd swallowed those words, if I'd chosen gratitude over restlessness. But regret doesn't rewrite endings. It just makes them heavier to carry. I told him he'd never be the man I needed, and maybe I was right, but I also learned that sometimes the man you need isn't the man who sets your soul on fire for a moment. It's the man who keeps the fire burning quietly, steadily, for a lifetime. Have you ever pushed away someone who was good for you just because you thought you were missing something more exciting? I want to hear your stories. Maybe we can figure out how to tell the difference between love that's steady and love that's gone. Share your thoughts in the comments. Mark never came back, and I never asked him to. Some doors, once closed, are meant to stay shut, but I carry him with me, not as the man I left behind, but as the man who taught me that being enough isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up every single day until the other person can't imagine life without you. I just wish I'd realized it before I told him otherwise.